Recently I've been going on a journey to try and experience the greatest games of all time. I've played through a few classics, but there is one game that always comes up on top 50 lists, critics' reviews, and general suggestions from people as being right up there as potentially one of the best games ever. And that game is The Witcher 3. Now, I've never been sure that I can trust these suggestions. Games that involve mythical creatures, magic potions, witches and monsters have never really grabbed my attention, and there's usually a debate in fan bases about which particular game in a series is the best of the set. Some will say nothing beats the original, or that sequels are just a cash grab and never please the real hardcore fans. But in this case, not only is the third installment almost universally considered the best of the three, there's calls to crown this particular title the best game ever, and of all games ever made, and that is a huge statement. So I just had to find out, what's the big deal about The Witcher 3? Well, for a game based around slaying monsters, I didn't expect that the first thing I'd see is a naked guy in a tub. Wait, what just went in the...
You know I don't find that amusing.
Did he just pull that out of his... And is that a naked lady? I guess a little bit of playful magic never hurt anyone, but wow. Geralt barely even flinched.
Promised Ciri you'd train with her. Go before Vesemir bores her to death with those eggs.
I've never seen an opening sequence to a game like this before. It's very relaxed and cinematic. I guess it's setting the tone for the rest of the game.
You've known many?
After a bit of back and forth, it seems like we're learning a little bit of the backstory as we are chatting. This game feels like it's trying to be a bit like an interactive movie. Lots of cutscenes and the ability to choose how your character reacts to the dialogue with another character. I remember playing a game called Heavy Rain back in the day, and it had the same sort of thing. Your choices shaped the outcome of the game and the direction it would take. At the time, I'd compare that game with my cousin who was also playing through it, and it was interesting to see how different his experience was to mine. That was a standalone game with alternate endings. But because The Witcher is the third in the series, it feels like I'm kind of playing catch up on who is who, what is what, the characters, where we are, and what we're doing. Early on, I think a lot of this detail goes way over my head, but I wonder how much of this dialogue is loved by people who have played the previous games, and if there's any continuation of these storylines. Or maybe it doesn't actually matter too much. Either way, as an outsider, it definitely feels foreign, and like there is a lot that I don't know. But hopefully it will make sense further down the road. And to be fair, it does seem like the game is trying to help us catch up on all of this.
I know, and you know that's no excuse.
I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
And these options are a little bit ambiguous. This one here with Ciri, is it a playful, better not, or is it more aggressive?
Better not. Vesemir said if it does, he'll make you eat a bowl of slugs covered in salt.
Maybe if it was color-coded, it could give you a better idea. I feel like this is the sort of thing that might get us in trouble later, but we'll see. It's cool how we're learning the movement patterns and controls through play, but also getting all this conversation between the two to explain the relationship between the characters as we go. I get the impression Vesemir is like our friend, or a wise old mentor, or a father figure who guides us and helps us raise Ciri, who is like an adopted daughter. Now this initial scene with the wild hunt is pretty chilling. Even watching it back gives me goosebumps. Yep, everyone's frozen.
I've long awaited this, and you, White Wolf.
No!
No!
No. How dare they? Can't just freeze people then break them apart. Obviously, it's only a dream. I guess we're going to be haunted with these kinds of dreams and visions of Ciri being taken as a kid, even though she's actually all grown up now. So away we go into the world of being Geralt the Witcher. We're out looking for Ciri, who's gone missing. She's being chased by the main bad guys of the story, the Wild Hunt, and of course, we need to get to her first. One thing made very obvious is the different ways witches are treated in this world by the human characters. Some show a lot of respect, and many show indifference.
I'll not drink with Weaver-Lost freaks.
Beg your pardon for those thugs.
No need. We're used to it.
It's interesting to think that although witches are almost like superheroes protecting humans from monsters and the like, they're also looked at as almost mercenaries or disingenuous because they do what they do, but for money. It's like one of those universes in the movie Hancock where the superheroes exist but are imperfect. They have a real human side to them rather than a typical perfect Superman type, and can be rightly shunned as outsiders by many people for just not fitting in. Because of all this, the witches feel misunderstood and almost like drifters moving from place to place in search of contracted work for food or cash, or not really settling in one spot.
Pigs! Show that shit-eater, Micah.
Red-haired woman dressed in black and white. Seen her? Talk.
Folks say the lady rode through the village a few days back.
So we see here they have powers and abilities, superhuman-like specialties, and they mix this with a vast knowledge of alchemy and potions. At the same time, there seems to be a running battle between different human armies, vying for control of this war-torn country, so tensions are high. But the one thing I don't understand throughout this entire game is why so many people think they have the ability to fight Geralt. Our boy is a stone-cold contract killer, seemingly emotionless, stronger than anyone, and lethal with his fists and weapons, not to mention abilities like being able to light you on fire or control your mind. And yet all these regular people who know exactly what Geralt is like, what witches are capable of, still try to mess with him?
What? I could fuck you up by myself.
If I had a bag over my head and my hands tied behind... Actually, no, not even then.
Chet, Lesh, back off. I'll teach this vagrant a lesson. Man on freak.
Drunk or not, they still want to fight him or cause trouble. Crazy. I do like how we can use our Witcher senses to help figure out what we're looking for. That's very cool, firstly as an ability, but also as a way to help teach us the game by using features or the abilities witches have, rather than say non-stop pop-up hints or something that will glaringly blink at you like in some other games. It's not always obvious what you're looking for, which in my opinion is very good for immersion. Actually, one of the craziest things in this game is learning about how witches actually come to be. During the dialogue throughout the game, you piece together the entire violent backstory of how witches become witches. This might be something laid out more in the previous games. Again, I can't speak to that, but witches aren't just crazy beings that are born with these abilities. They're usually orphans taken as kids and trained in all kinds of combat and alchemy before being mutated in a brutal process called the Trial of the Grasses. Only about 1 in 10 survive, but there are many other witches out there that we meet throughout the game or are spoken about, such as Vesemir, Lambert, Cayenne, and Letho. I'm not sure how much this stuff differs from the source material. I've learnt that this game is based on a bunch of books by Polish author, and I'm trying my best not to butcher this, Andrzej Sapkowski. I know that hardcore fans will know a lot more than me, but considering The Witcher 3 sold over 60 million copies and the previous titles had sold only 8 million, it's safe to assume that there are a ton of people out there like me who are basically noobs to this world who played The Witcher 3 as their first experience of the Witcher world and learned through dialogue as they go. Actually, while preparing this video, I learnt that the original books themselves were translated to 37 languages from Polish. By 2019, they had sold 15 million copies, but that figure doubled to 30 million copies by 2023 due to the popularity of the Witcher Netflix TV series. So yes, I am a bit of a newcomer, but so are many of those who joined the Witcher universe in the past few years, so there are a lot of things that make more sense as we go. It's pretty cool though that there's some missions where we switch between the characters and we get to play as Ciri. It's got that like teleportation thing here. That's sick. Oh shit, 3 on 1. 4 on 1. This guy's not really helping. Like I said, as I'm getting to know and learning the game as I play, it seems like Ciri has powers that differ slightly to Geralt and are a little more unique. Even though she's a student of Geralt's, she may be a little more powerful than him actually, but if anything, she has a little less control. Guys, bunny. Yeah, we got them all. So we learned that the Wild Hunt are after Ciri, who is a rare type of being that contains elder blood. Utilizing this blood and its mutagens would make the Wild Hunt unstoppable, and they're pretty damn powerful as it is. Just look how crazy this guy is. So basically, this is the main bad guy, and he's far too powerful to fight alone. Our objective this game is to put together a squad of friends and foe that we meet along the way to help bunker down for a huge final stand together. We are trying to recruit those with common interests, even if we don't see eye to eye with them personally. It can also be kind of a you scratch my back, I'll scratch your scenario where if we can do something of interest for them, they will help us in the fight. So this takes us on a whole journey around the map, carrying out missions and tasks, while also trying to piece together the mystery of Ciri's whereabouts. The story and the people you can interact with can get pretty dark. There's a lot of morally grey situations, or even sometimes where it can be hard to know the right thing to do. Oh, what the hell? I think she's actually a witch. Oh no, she died. Oh shit. That's intense. That's intense. Man, you don't want to go out like that. The fuck? We're watching him burn? Man, look at that. That's intense. It's quite scary, actually.
I'd never have left you. I'd do anything for you. I would. You know that well. Believe me. I beg you.
Prove it.
Kiss me.
Kiss me.
She said kiss me.
Graham, careful.
No. No way. Oh, come on. You can't. What the fuck is that? Nah. There's no way I There's no way I predicted that too. Tato, I don't know, man. Oh my god. Don't do it. Look at... Stop. Look at the teeth. Dude, he's dead. Oh my god. This is probably one of the more clear-cut moral dilemmas where we face the despicable Horton Jr. in his house where he tortured many innocent women. Although it seems like this is a person that deserves a bad outcome, it's still a chilling situation to be in, hearing and seeing such terrible things happening.
What the sandwich fuck is this?
What the sandwich fuck is this? Damn, we gotta kill him, right? And we have to choose an outcome, so naturally, goodbye, Horson Jr. He's gotta die. He's been killing too many people.
Where things stand. I'm looking for this woman, cause she's like a daughter to me. And that's why I just can't let this go.
Yeah, and look at the house around him. This Family Matters mission was one of those that was just weird. Talking about abandoned fetuses coming back to haunt you and needing to help it make peace, all to help this greedy Baron, is not something that I imagined ever popping up in a game I played. Freaky. That's fucked. Like this. This could make people quite squeamish. And like I said, dark topics like this are risky to go down. I guess it works in this universe of mythical creatures, but I don't know what else to say other than it's just weird.
Me to those bound to you by blood.
This was actually a main quest, which overall takes quite a long time to do, but it's a good example of something. There does become sort of a predictable pattern to how things unfold in The Witcher 3. For instance, to complete this quest, we have to talk to the Baron to help him remember details about some blood that will help us find Ciri. So he sends us to find a Peller who can help us discover the blood's details, but first he needs our help to find the missing goat. Once we return the goat, the Peller can help us figure out that there is a curse. Then we must go talk to the Baron again to help him defeat the curse. We then go back to the Peller to complete some tasks before being clues to find somebody else who gives us more details that we take back to the Baron.
Fuck you!
Sending us to another city to go talk to the Baron's wife, only to go back to the Baron to finally find out more about Ciri. So it seems to go that in order to go from A to B, you need to bounce between helping C, D, and E unlock F and complete tasks for all of those, which will send you back to B in this sort of bouncing story loop. Now, I'm not saying any of this is a bad thing, but the amount of dialogue to get through this game is crazy. I don't think I've ever experienced a game that is so long and has just so much to it. There does come a point in this game where I kind of just switch off and stop taking in the information. At least that's what happens to me when I feel this repetitive pattern come into play. Like actually listening to what's being said in the side quests when it does nothing to help on the main mission. I know that's not unheard of in gaming. There's plenty of games that you can play through without really knowing the backstory or even why your character is set on completing an in-game mission or task. But I just find it surprising that a game that is so heavily based in following along a story gets so extensive with the interactions that it becomes hard to keep track of what you're actually doing in the first place. It probably didn't help that I was playing this as I live streamed, where I try not to sit in silence too long, so I can't listen to the dialogue as intently as I would just gaming alone. I can get distracted talking to people coming into chat. That being said, if you do want to come in and say hey sometime in chat, I would love it. Links are in the description. But on the flip side, there's also nothing worse than a game or storyline that makes no sense. You know, when things just don't add up, or like there are major plot holes, or you don't really understand a character's motivation for doing something. That can take you out of the immersion of the experience, whether that be a game, a TV show, or even a movie. This doesn't really happen with The Witcher, but I think I just got fatigued with just how much dialogue there was. But it's worth listening to because on these missions and side quests, the choices we make have consequences. There's potential to shape the story in a variety of ways, and sometimes the outcome of our choices are very surprising. This particular interaction gave me a huge shock. This was a discussion we were having with Kira the morning after a magical night together where we had a great time. Just watch.
I don't have time to debate this, Geralt. I'm going to see Radovid whether you like it or not.
Sure. I can't believe we fucked as an option. Should I do that one?
So you're fine assisting in genocide. That doesn't strike you as incredibly wrong, really? I can't believe we fucked.
Yen won't either when I tell her.
Whoa!
Sorry, lost track of who you're currently obsessed with. We're done talking, Geralt. Get out of my sight.
Oh, shit.
I'll go as soon as you hand me those notes.
Then you shall stay here forever.
Wait, we've... Kira, what are we doing?
You were foolish to
No shot, we killed Kira.
Didn't have to end this way.
We killed her? Damn! What? We spent a magical night together. Yeah, we just banged. We literally just banged. Woke up, came here, and killed her. Damn, that's some psychopath shit. Wow. I thought we were just telling her off. I didn't think we were gonna... I thought we were just bickering. I didn't think we were going... Ooh, shit. I mean, I get that maybe we had to stop Yennefer from finding out, but this is an insane cover up by Geralt. And this is what I mean. I just thought we were telling Ciri off, arguing with her about her questionable behavior and choices. I didn't realize the option I chose would be this drastic. But I think that's also the good thing about this game. You don't really know exactly what you're going to get. There are many games out there where sure, you can choose the dialogue options, but you'll eventually end up in the same preconceived endings anyway. The only thing that really changes is who does and doesn't like you. You still get the same ending and your choices don't matter too much. But I don't think that's the case here. We've just killed off one of the seemingly main characters of the game, so surely this will impact the way the game ends or limit us along the way in some capacity. I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that one. The other thing I noticed pretty quickly about The Witcher is just how long you can spend playing this game. All up, I put in about 60 hours, but it can easily be so much more because there is so much more. I'm the type of guy who gets distracted by the side quest. Like this old lady, we had to help her find her pot. Take the frying pan, love.
But mine were black with soot, and I could see myself in this one if I wanted.
This witch, at first she was too difficult. Whoa, okay, yeah, we gotta run away. And although not essential to the story in any way, I just had to go back and finish the job. We got it, yes! Man, I put that mission on hold for so long. And I spent far too long searching for upgrades. In fact, that was one of the things that consumed me the most. We could find diagrams to craft a piece of armor with an additional 20 health points on what we had already. And in the time it takes us to find those diagrams, we've defeated an opponent in our way who drops a piece of armor with an additional 30 points of health. So do we bother completing the original side quest? Yeah. Yes, always yes. The sound you get when you complete something gets very addictive. I like it's satisfying to hear like when you do a little mission or something, you get the little sound cues. In fact, I think the leveling system is very smart in that way. Yes, you can find some equipment that you thought was amazing, but it's usually locked at a higher character level, meaning that your character couldn't use it yet. So you still have to progressively level up slowly. You can't just luck out on finding something highly rated early on and start breezing through the missions. This applies to armor, weapons, potions, or even abilities. It feels so rewarding to get that slightly better silver sword, even though I know I'll eventually find something better. Tied into this though is the menu system, and I think this may be a little bit of a letdown. This might just be me, but I think the inventory and menu system is kind of good and bad at the same time. For instance, the way this is set out, it's pretty good. You can see what you have, the durability level, the abilities, where everything is sorted and organized is fine. But this can get extremely overwhelming. It's not even just the way it's laid out, it's being made to think you need to keep everything. And that's because you can craft objects out of items or even dismantle items to create a bunch of raw materials to use on other things. There is a weight limit to the amount of items you can carry, and whilst upgrading Roach's saddle and Geralt's abilities will enable us to carry more items, there will come a point in your life as a Witcher where you must decide, do I actually need to carry this extra cow's hide? What about these 15 candelabras and 30 million broomsticks? Do I need this extra sword? I love looting just as much as anyone, and it pains me to make such difficult decisions. Like these, why am I holding so many skulls? They don't do anything. Carrying too much will make your movement incredibly and painfully slow. So you have to choose what loot you drop, store in safe houses, or just flat out ignore. I think it's because as someone who believes that everything you loot in this game carries some significance or importance, it's hard to let go of that idea that I don't actually need to pick everything up. And trying to ignore those looter instincts is next to impossible. But if you're like me and you have hoarded a lot of inventory items, it can be quite easy to have enough materials to craft new gear or potions when you need them. As a Witcher, you basically have a doctorate in alchemy, so you can craft all kinds of potions and oils to make your life a whole lot easier. These kinds of things are absolutely game changing and make fighting harder opponents a much simpler task. I just like to aim my sword at the bad guys and fight, kind of meat-headed. But if you take the time to prepare your gear properly, like using oils that damage a particular enemy more than another, or crafting grenades with a specific speciality. I know it isn't groundbreaking stuff for some people, but for me, taking the time to prepare all of this made fighting monsters like this one less impossible. Mordvuk took me a while to conquer. I really had to use all of these potions, grenades, upgrade my Igni abilities with this opponent in mind, and just use a bit of patience to back up, re-heal, drink my decoctions to enhance my fighting, and I just realized at this point how differently you can face your opponents rather than just mindlessly swinging my sword. There is so much to learn about the types of opponents you'll face, and luckily you can learn all about the little tips and tricks in your bestiary index. Not only that, but the more you explore, the more you can pick up these hints as little note items to store in your inventory for later use. Along with recipes for advanced potions and enhancements to your already vast wealth of knowledge, you can figure out how to overcome almost anything which would initially seem very impossible. The amount of time you spend learning everything there is to know as a Witcher is very extensive, maybe even unlimited. Actually, the one thing you will spend most of your time doing, aside from learning about all things Witcher knowledge, is traveling. Whether it be on foot or by fast travel on the map, you are constantly moving around. One of the most helpful features is this fast travel system. Discovering different points of interest through notes, journal entries, or through simply exploring an unmarked area can allow us to fast travel. This is definitely a time saver because getting around the map on foot is extremely slow and painful, and that's even before you consider all the time lost to Roach. This is Roach. I mentioned him earlier and he's our buddy. He carries our things and he can get us out of trouble, but the amount of things he gets stuck on, wow. He gets stuck on absolutely anything and everything you can set your eyes on, and even some invisible obstacles that probably don't even exist. Just look at this guy. You're almost better off walking. But honestly, the map is huge, and as a large open world, you can get lost exploring it. And if you do play this game, sometimes it's a nice change of pace to just look around. We can get caught up in feeling like we need to finish a mission or fly through the game, but if you take the scenic route to a place and look around, you can come across some very cool stuff. Let's influence his mind. Hey, he's attacking my horse. Hang on a sec, I'll be back for you, bandit. I was just toying with you. This ghoul can fuck off. Leave my horse alone. Oh shit! The cinematics! I love that. Also, there are a lot of adult scenes in this game, and it's incredible how much you can get up to in The Witcher when it comes to adult activities. We started off the game on that note, and it most definitely continues throughout. Whether that be with Triss, Yennefer, Ciri, even random ladies we meet at the parlor, there is no shortage of opportunity for Geralt to blow off some steam. And a lot of it is quite funny, like this, on a horse. Really? Okay. We even get to experience a little bit of romance as Ciri. This was a bit of a weird situation that was short-lived when you consider that earlier we had Ciri admit that she just wasn't into Skull at all because she preferred women. I don't know. But along with non-stop references to drugs and alcohol, this is definitely not a kid's game by any means. Something like this is a crazy looking experience when you think about it. But aside from being drunk, I have to admit, this is a great looking game. I'm not sure the map can hold up graphically to what we have by today's gaming standards, but you can't say this game doesn't look good or is lacking in that department, especially being something like 10 years old. Sure, if you want ray tracing and something that looks majorly realistic, this isn't going to cut it, but aside from clipping in some parts of the terrain, it's a pretty damn good looking game to play. I have noticed though, and at first I thought this was just me, but one of the major criticisms of this game when you look at critical reviews is that the loading times are quite excessive. There's obviously a lot of data that needs to be processed, but the loading times between missions, when you're fast traveling, or just between cutscenes, it's just way too long. I will say the load times in this game are a little bit annoying. It does seem to drag on a little bit. It kind of takes you out of the immersion of playing the game. That's a shame, and it does add up over time. Sometimes it can feel like the game is just frozen. You end up just checking your phone or start scrolling through something else, which sucks. Just as a random suggestion, instead of the same few fun facts that you can read, which are really helpful, they might have been able to add something to occupy the player through a loading screen better, like mix up the artwork or add minigames. Don't tell me we're frozen in the loading screen. That wouldn't be cool. That wouldn't be cool at all. And speaking of minigames, we have to talk about Gwent. This game is highly addictive. I'd often load up The Witcher just to play more Gwent and expand my card collection. It's great. And as a sidetrack, I even went as far to download the standalone game of Gwent itself, which I didn't quite like as much. It doesn't play quite the same as in the Witcher game, and it doesn't feel as satisfying. There's something about the way the game felt and played out in the Witcher universe which just kept me going back. I don't know about you guys, but I just wanted to get as many cards as possible. I wanted to be unbeatable in any deck and just get all the best cards. In fact, I think sometimes instead of just holding on to the maximum amount of cards you can when you start a game, like here it says 25 or so, just holding on to your best ones, just enough to finish a game, is actually a pretty viable tactic, as you won't get bogged down filtering through useless ones when you're trying to play against harder opponents. Sometimes just holding an extra special card instead of an extra few points can help you neutralize your opponent's special cards. You don't need to outscore them sometimes, just a 1 point win is enough, or make your opponent run out of cards. The weather modifiers too, yeah, now that I think about it, I'm going to go need to play some more Gwent. The amount of time I lost to side quests that involve searching for better Gwent cards or opponents was quite significant. They really had me hooked with that. And Gwent is probably the most innovative feature of The Witcher 3. Aside from it, there's nothing really that the game does that is completely unique or special. But what it does do, it does really well. It's an extremely detailed RPG game that has seemingly left no stone unturned in trying to find a cohesive, complex story that we can affect. And it tells this story in a way that leaves you feeling both satisfied with your choices, but also curious about different possible scenarios. It's not perfect by any means. Things like Roach being terrible just gives the game personality, along with totally ambiguous lines or dialogue options that are open for interpretation. And seemingly pointless quests, like just to play wingman for a friend trying to seal the deal with the ladies. These are just the type of things we'll lovingly look back on later down the track and laugh at for being imperfect, just as we did with other older games we played as kids and loved. And as we look towards the new Witcher 4 game on the horizon, there's a couple of interesting things that I've learned through preparing this video and the alternate endings you may encounter. First, the development time of The Witcher 3 was only about 3.5 years and involved about 1,500 people. The crazy part to me is that this game was scripted concurrently in both Polish and English to avoid any issues in translation down the road, and get this, the 450,000 word script took 3 years to record and had 500 voice actors. Although The Witcher actually originates from a short story that Andrzej Sapkowski wrote for a magazine competition in 1986, there was more demand for his work, so he wrote 14 more, before starting his series of novels in 1994. So there are 9 novels and 15 short stories about The Witcher that inspired not only this video game series, but also a few TV shows, a film, and a comic book series, not to mention any other spin-offs. Development for this game started in 2011, but the game wasn't actually a direct official continuation of the book series. The author himself was also only limited to assisting the creation of the map. With an initial release date of Feb 2015, there were a few delays to sort out about 5,000 bugs a few months before the release, and the fact that the entire economy, crafting, and inventory systems weren't able to be completed to meet that deadline. So this game was delayed and released in May 2015, and by August the year after had received over 800 awards, including 260 Game of the Year titles from various events. These were record-breaking numbers for a game, and that's without mentioning all of its music, story, art, and character award nominations. The number of Game of the Year awards has only been surpassed in 2021 by The Last of Us Part 2, and more recently Elden Ring. Some pretty illustrious company. So it's safe to say this game has been renowned as an overwhelming success with over 60 million units sold. So as it turns out, not having Ciri is apparently pretty limiting in the big battle versus the Wild Hunt. I did some research and apparently she can cast some spells and use powers that I guess Triss was doing, but to a different extent. I wonder how many other people went down a similar route to mine and how different this fight would have been with her involved. But to be fair, it's not a disaster and we still hold our own in the battle. This part gives me chills. Geralt is frozen and can do nothing to help. Only Vesemir can help as Ciri is surrounded by the Wild Hunt, but as they close in, something terrible happens and Ciri just snaps. Not killing me there is a mistake. You should have killed me. You had the chance. Did he just pick up the sword by the blade? That's wild to me.
Where is he?
Oh shit. Teleport away! Ciri! Get up, Ciri. Oh shit! Get out of here. Kill him. Oh no. Not him, as in kill the Wild Hunt people. Fuck.
She'll not abandon you.
Freak.
Humans are so impractical.
No.
Ciri, no!
What are you doing?
I forbid you!
What are you doing?
Always were an unruly child. I adored that about you. Now fly!
Oh my god. No! They killed him! Oh, you guys are gonna pay. She's getting mad. She's gonna do insane things right now. She's about to do something. Oh shit. The Wild Hunt retreat in fear of Ciri's crazy psychological state. She seemingly has the power to destroy the entire world, and without her emotions being kept in check, she can be dangerous to anyone. It's insane. The other insane thing is that there is a possible 36 different endings to the story, with every decision Geralt has made affecting the world and the lives of the in-game characters. A lot of that is shaped up in the build-up to this final fight. We get to experience Ciri's power as she tears through the Wild Hunt forces. If Ciri survives after defeating the White Frost and Geralt takes her to meet her father, she'll become the Empress of Nilfgaard. If Ciri survives but did not meet the Emperor, Geralt helps her fake her death and she becomes a Witcher. If Ciri is killed in her confrontation with the White Frost, Geralt retrieves her medallion from the last remaining crone and mourns quietly as his hut is swarmed by monsters. We also get to decide via our choices if Geralt ends up in a romantic relationship with Yennefer, Triss, or neither, and how much of the North is ultimately conquered by Nilfgaard. So as we go through our final battle, let's talk about this question. Is The Witcher 3 the best game of all time? Well, maybe. It depends. I'm not so sure how you can even judge a game like this to that question. What defines the best game of all time anyway? Is it supposed to be perfect? Because if so, this is not it. There's glitches, there's clunkiness, plus the loading times and the menu system sucks. Is it supposed to be the most visually appealing? Well, that standard changes with every new generation of console, every new evolution or development in technology. The Witcher looked great in 2015, but I'd imagine many people saying that it doesn't hold up to today's standards. And no, it wasn't innovative, dropping something completely different that no one else has seen before. But does all of that matter to the gameplay? I'm not so sure. Because the Witcher world was unlike anything I had played before. It's big, the storyline is massive, and the way that you can shape how the game ends is so very impressive. This is a game where everything could change with one bad decision. You were locked into the characters, to the story. We learn about the lore, the history. This is a game that can consume you and bring you into its world. It will tempt you to come back for more, to find more depths and explore the unknown. Emotionally, Ciri sacrifices herself to protect the world from the White Frost.
Don't do this to me. Please, not now.
Geralt, believe me. Tavern, old wine, our boots drying by the fire. I'd like nothing better. I can't. I must try. For you, Yen, Triss, for everyone. Keep your fingers crossed.
We inform the king that his daughter is no more, and upon receiving this epic final sword, we set off on a journey. We end the game with Ciri becoming a Witcher, exploring the world herself. This story is one that had me feeling emotional, intrigued, lost, and just completely invested. I cannot speak highly enough of the twists, turns, and the ability to shape what happened on our own terms. Even after the story's over, there's expansion packs, there's unrealized treasure to find, there's people to meet and more people to help. You can go back and play the game's open world after you've completed the storyline. This game is incredible. And although the concept was never something I was interested in before, this is a game I'll come back to play again and again and again, which is a huge compliment in itself. I don't think this is the best game ever. It might be close, but I wouldn't find it surprising or think it was crazy if you thought it was. So what do you think? Is The Witcher 3 the best game ever? And what other must-play game do you think deserves to be on the gaming bucket list? Let me know in the comments. If you've made it to the end of this video, just know that I appreciate you. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back on the channel for the next one.